Hello everyone. So today we will be continuing with the LO4, basically Unit 4, ICT in Statistics. And today we will cover on how to use third-party statistical databases. So in this session, the key areas which we will cover are, the first one is describe using an example, a third-party statistical database. Secondly, explain using an example how to extract data in a suitable format for use. And thirdly, using an example, how to analyze data using the relevant data analysis tools. So these are the three important areas which we will cover for today. So the first one is describe using an example, a third-party statistical database. So a third-party statistical database is a repository of data which is maintained by an external organization and which can be accessed for research and analysis. So this database, it can be either paid or it can be an open database with no subscription. So these databases often contain a wide range of structured data. They include demographic, economic, social, or scientific information. So some of the most commonly used third-party statistical databases are the data maintained by the government organizations, for example, the Federal Reserve database, the UK Ministry of Labour database. So there are the different ministries, they also maintain the databases. So to illustrate, let's examine one of the most commonly used third-party statistical database, which is the World Bank data. So the World Bank data is a prominent third-party statistical database that provides a comprehensive economic, financial, and social data from countries around the world. So this database is often used by is often tracked by the different countries to monitor the progress or to use the different specific metrics based on which the policies can be made. So it offers a vast array of data sets, indicators, and time series components, which researchers, policymakers, and analysts can access to study global economic trends and development indicators. So let us look into the main features of the World Bank data. So the first one is the diverse data categories. So the World Bank data, it covers a broad spectrum of data categories, which include GDP, population, poverty rates, education, health, and environmental indicators. For example, how many people are under, they suffer from malnutrition, what is the poverty rate, what is the unemployment rate, some of the financial indicators like what is the GDP growth, so which components of GDP are growing, the breakdown by sectors. So these are some of the data categories that features in the World Bank database. So the second feature is the global coverage. So it encompasses data from almost every country in the world, making it a valuable resource for international comparisons and cross-country analysis. So the analysts and the researchers, they can use this database for making a cross-country comparison. Then you have time series data. So the database includes historical data and which allows the users of the data to track changes over a period of time. So they can analyze the trends, how the different indicators are changing. For example, how many people have access to healthcare of the government healthcare program. So the accessibility trend can be checked using the World Bank database. Then you have user-friendly interfaces. So the World Bank database, it provides a user-friendly online platform from where users can search, filter, and download datasets using different formats such as Excel, CSV, or CSV is comma separated values, or JSON. So JSON is an application programming interface database where it is used to like capture data and present the data in the desired format. So next step is the data analysis. So once the data is obtained, the researcher can import it into statistical software like R Python, or it could be SPSS or a specialized tool for economic analysis. So personally speaking, I prefer SPSS because it is like easy to use, and mostly like I have been using SPSS for quite some time now. So I'm more comfortable with SPSS. I have tried R also, but Python I haven't tried. So it depends, like whichever statistical tool that you are comfortable with. Then regression analysis or other statistical tests can be performed to examine the relationship between education expenditure and economic growth in the selected country. So this is one of the examples. So in conclusion, a third-party statistical databases like the World Bank data plays a crucial role in providing access to a wide range of data for research and analysis. The researchers and analysts can use these databases to access valuable information to make informed decisions and conduct academic research, as well as address real-world challenges. So the policymakers, they can use these data sets to incorporate in their policy making decisions. So that is the importance of data collection and data analysis. So moving on to the next section. So here we use and explain using an example how to extract data in a suitable format for use. So extracting data from a third-party statistical database in a suitable format for use is a fundamental step in research and analysis. So it involves specific data points, filtering and formatting the data to match the research objectives. So at some point of time, you would be progressing into doing masters, and then if you want to take higher level of academics, then you can go for a doctoral program. So in all of these programs, one of the important aspects is that you have to submit a thesis. So in thesis, you are required to understand the different data types, and you have to conduct a data analysis. So normally, quantitative analysis and statistical tests have gained more prominence as they are focused on achieving objective findings. So it is important that you get yourself familiarized with some of the statistical tools such as R or SPSS. So, so basically, there also you would have to like collect data and then analyze the data based on your choice of research methodology. So now getting into this, so let's look into an example of extracting World Bank data in a suitable format. So the scenario is, imagine you are a researcher at UK Versity Online and you are conducting a study on the correlation between a country's GDP per capita and its level of access to clean drinking water in various regions. So you want to extract data from a World Bank database. So how do you proceed? So the different steps to extract data are, the first one is like you access the World Bank data platform. So this so you visit the World Bank data website. The URL or the link is given here, which is data.worldbank.org. Then you search for relevant data sets. So use the search or browse options to find data set related to GDP per capita and access to clean drinking water. So you locate data sets with indicators that match your research requirements. For example, here you will get different data sets. For example, you will get data sets related to Africa. Here you will get data sets related to Asia. Here you will get data sets related to South America, US, UK. So you have to select whichever region you want to do the analysis. So so that is mentioned in the third option, which is select countries and time periods. So choose the countries or regions that you want to include in your analysis. For instance, you may want to select several countries in Africa. So specify the time period you are interested in. So normally a time period of if you want recent data, so only last 10 years data is considered most appropriate. So you may choose data for the last decade to observe the trends. So the next step is to download data. So you select the specific data points you need, such as GDP per capita. So the indicator code is ny.gdp dot p per capita p is cap.cd and access to clean drinking water. So the code is shh2o.basw.zs. So this indicator code you need not remember. You can just browse in the data set of the World Bank and you will get the required set of data. Then you choose the download format that suits your analysis tool, such as CSV or Excel. Then filter and format data. So after downloading the data, open it in your preferred analysis tool. For example, it could be Excel or it could be your statistical software. So then you clean the data by checking for missing values, inconsistencies, or outliers. So you may want to remove the outliers so that you can have a normal data distribution and you can conduct the required statistical tests. Then you format the data into a suitable structure for analysis with variables in columns and observations in rows. Then the next step is combine and analyze data. So if needed, merge the GDP per capita and clean drinking water access data sets using common identifiers like country codes. Then statistical analysis is performed, which can be like correlation analysis, multiple regression, or visualization in the form of descriptive statistics to explore the relationship between GDP per capita and access to clean drinking water in the selected countries. Then you have reporting and interpretation. So then this is a very important part. You have to see which is your audience so that accordingly you can go for reporting and interpretation of the data. So you can interpret the findings and incorporate them into your research report or academic paper. So then you need to provide explanations, draw conclusions, and make recommendations based on your analysis. So the recommendation section can also include like how do these trends match up with different countries. The cross-country analysis can be done, or like if prior research papers are published, how consistent is the data with those papers, or do you notice any significant deviation in the trend? So these things you need to report in your research report in the discussion section. So in conclusion, in this example, you have successfully extracted data from the World Bank data platform. You have cleaned and formatted it and conducted analysis to investigate the relationship between GDP per capita and access to clean drinking water. The extracted data is in a suitable format for research and can be used to draw meaningful insights. So basically, you have extracted the data in such a format that it can be used for further analysis. So this process of data extraction and analysis is applicable to various research scenarios and can be adapted to work with third-party statistical databases. So it could be SPSS, it could be R, it could be Python, depending on your research objectives and available data sources. So the next section relates to explain using an example how to analyze data using relevant data analysis tools. So in this, the most important part is data cleaning. So in data cleaning, we generally remove the outlier, or then you sort, filter, and validate the raw data to fix errors. For example, if there are some missing data, so you may want to remove that entire row so that inconsistencies in the data is removed. And again, if any duplicate rows are there, then you need to remove it manually before you feed it into the statistical tool. And then descriptive statistics. So for presenting descriptive statistics, you can use functions like average, median, mode on metrics like revenues to understand central tendencies. And the functions like count, max, min, they can be used to analyze customers and transactions. So these are like different scenarios where descriptive statistics can be used. Then you have visualizations. So it can be in the form of bar chart, pie chart, or mixed chart. So which helps you to present the data more effectively. So create charts like by bar charts, line graph, and scatter plots to visualize revenue by product category, age groups, etc. So this is for a consumer when you are measuring consumer behavior. And then pivot tables. So large data set can be summarized by product segment using pivot tables. So then analyze the revenue can be analyzed across dimensions. Then you have regression analysis. So apply regression to quantify effect of customer age on revenue and derive predictions. So then regression analysis, it is generally carried out to conduct a causal investigation between independent and dependent variables. So for example, the GDP per capita is an independent variable and access to clean drinking water can be considered as a dependent variable. So you can use statistical analysis or multiple regression to conduct the influence of changes in GDP per capita on access to clean drinking water. So in conclusion, this example demonstrates how building spreadsheets can analyze data sets and uncover patterns. So tools like Python, Tableau, and SQL, they provide expanded analytics capabilities, including statistical tests, forecasting, mapping, and advanced visualizations. So what you need to remember is to match the analysis technique to the business question. So for example, if you have to conduct a causal investigation, you can use multiple regression. And if you have to use like the association between the variables, you can use correlations. So it basically depends on what kind of research problem you are looking at. So that is all for today. In case if you have any questions, you can let me know.